Hello, everyone. My name is Joe, and I review movies. Well, I finally went ahead and saw the new movie, The Last Jedi, the second iteration of, I want to say, the J.J. Abrams Star Wars universe. And for myself personally, I'm not a big fan of this movie, but I'm going to try to review this movie as a person that just loves the Star Wars films. Not necessarily the books, not necessarily the cartoons, the toys, or anything like that. None of the extra media that's out there, just the movies themselves. And if I can approach it from that aspect, I can say, yeah, it's a pretty decent, movie. It still has its flaws, however, but you're gonna get a good time. You're gonna have a good time with it. Even myself, I'm a very, very big Star Wars fan. I've seen all the movies. I've read dozens of the books and audio tapes. And for me, I still got a little bit of enjoyment out of this film. Not to say it's a bad film or anything like that, but you just have to know what you're getting into. Well, let me take that back a little bit. They actually turn a lot of things on their head in the Star Wars universe. And I tell you, this is one of the most polarizing Star Wars movies that has ever been made. Not since the prequels have these movies have gotten so much vitriol and so much praise from different sides of the Star Wars fandom. I'm a fan, and my friends are fan. Of course, we butt heads on why I think it's the kind of movie that it is. First of all, the visuals of this movie are outstanding. The first 20 minutes of this movie, the battle sequence, oh my god! I mean, it's really a sight to behold. The character development between Rey and Kylo Ren, for myself, I really did enjoy that. Luke Skywalker, just seeing him back on the big screen as Luke Skywalker and his relationship with Rey, I actually like that too. I mean, they had a very, very good dialogue. You could tell they meshed very well. Whoever wrote those scenes for them, they did a pretty good job. Whoever wrote the scenes between her and Kylo Ren, they did an awesome job because every time they were on screen, I was just captivated. I love seeing those two guys on screen doing their thing. A lot of other things happen in the film, and you've seen it by now. This is pretty much a spoiler fear review, and I probably should have said it at the beginning. But the beginning battle sequence, I liked it, but when I overthink it, I don't like it. But when you just see it on screen, yeah, I like it. Like a normal, everyday Star Wars movie watcher, you're gonna like it. I mean, it's a lot of good things to see. Poe Dameron's back in it. Finn is back in it again. He's doing some silly stuff as usual, but whatever. I'm not a big fan of that character. I don't think he had a lot to do in this movie. Him and another young lady went to the Canto Bight gambling planet, and I wasn't a big fan of that whole sequence. I don't think anybody I know loved that sequence at all. It was a bunch of social commentary for the whole 30 minutes of that. They just should have just cut that out. The scenes between Kylo Ren and Rey, I tell you, they really nailed those scenes. I really enjoyed seeing those two interact. When she goes and visits the dark cave, and she learns a little bit of things about herself. Her parents, what are nobodies. They're pretty much junkers who wanted to get high, sold her for some money, and it is what it is. Now, I actually like the aspect of it that anybody from anywhere can become a Jedi. Okay, got it. I like that. But it doesn't really explain her skill level. When I try to explain it to people, I say, well, look, most people, when they have a skill, they have an innate, skill for something, but they still need to be taught in order to refine it. She has not been taught. She has just picked up a lightsaber and just started swinging it around. Now, some people will say, well, she already knew how to fight when she was on Jakku. Okay, got it. Whatever. I would argue against that because fighting with a staff and fighting with a lightsaber, it's totally two different things. But that's just me. Um, They had Captain Phasma back in this movie, and she was only in it for like 5 minutes, and she only had what 2 or 3 lines of dialogue, and they were pretty. She shouldn't have been in this movie. It was just to wrap her. I think they just wanted to wrap up that story between her and Finn, and she was defeated, maybe even killed. Looks like she was killed, and it is what it is. Princess Leia, she was in this movie again, and I mean, she had one scene to where she was blown out of an airlock, and I tried to explain to somebody, when something like that happens, I'm not a scientist, but when something like that happens, all the air is sucked out of the room and your lungs. You're dead. You're instant dead. It's no getting around it. You die. Well, she didn't die. She saw her. She came back to life, and she force floated back to the ship and was able to enter the ship. And then, of course, she ended up in a coma. Big, big conspiracy with. I can't even think of his name. I have to go back to this later. But he did a mutiny against the purple-haired woman, which I didn't really think she needed to be there. Just a new character for them to introduce and then kill off. Although her death scene was, I can't deny it was a sight to behold. The whole audience got quiet when she went through that. When she went through that fleet of ships at hyperspace. I was like, wow. But immediately I started thinking, why didn't they do this before? They could have been doing this in other movies. Whatever. Okay. Why? We have to lead somebody back to pilot the ship. No, you don't. Well, if you're gonna lead somebody back, you're gonna leave one person. You're gonna leave like a crew. Whatever. So, um, the fight scene in the throne room. Before I get to that, let me get to the death of Snoke. And this really irritated a lot of people, including myself, because the last movie built him up to be something, mysterious. And of course, he was powerful, and he seduced Kylo Ren, and we wanted to know more about him. I wanted to know more about, hey, where does this guy come from? Think about Star Wars fans. A lot of us geeks, or what you want to call it, we like to know the lore of anything that we watch or read or anything like that. We don't just take things as you give them to us. We want to know more about it. We want to get glean every bit of information we can from the movies. But now it seems as though this movie and the last movie did not match. A lot of things just did not match. It was one scene where Luke Skywalker, he met up with Han, and not Han. He met up with Chewie. Chewie started yelling at him, and he didn't understand Chewie, which we all know is bullcrap because Luke can understand Chewie just fine. He's been knowing him for over 40 years. I didn't buy that. She had a little fight scene with Luke. She got upset at Luke, so they had a little fight scene, had a little tussle. And Luke was dominating for a little bit, but she overpowered him and knocked him on the ground. Now, he didn't hit the ground. He floated like a true master, but I got it. But at the same time, I'm thinking, wait a minute. This is Luke. This is not... How is she able to best a Jedi master? The thing about the old movies, they follow the hero's arc. This movie doesn't do that. The character starts from nothing. Things happen in their life. They're called to action. They're called to action, and not necessarily when they get called to action, they don't get there and start dominating. They get their ass handed to them. After a brief bit of being humbled, they become better and better and better, and then toward the end, we're rooting for that character. We're rooting for it. Happened in Rocky, happened in Kill Bill, happened in Die Hard. The hero's arc is that's one of my. It's just the founding. It's just the founding way you tell a story when it comes to stories like this. This story is not handling it that way. Rey is already proficient. She's very proficient in the Force. Doesn't need no teachers. She just, whatever. She can do it all right now. Almost skirted to the dark side. Apparently, she was attracted to it. She loves Kylo Ren. He is buff. Women love muscle. I got it. But without going too far, I like the character of Rey. I like her. But I'm not sure where we're going with her. It was told to us, for the fans, the people that have been following, have been waiting 2 years, that we're going to explain, maybe Luke trained her in the past, they wiped her memory, or maybe she was a secret Jedi and Kylo knew of her. And if you look at the old movie, the one that came out in 2015, The Force Awakens, Kylo even says at one point, that girl, what girl? He kind of almost like he knows who she is. You get that impression that he knows who this chick is. And during her flashback scene, and when the Knights of Ren are, destroying the temple, Kylo even destroys one of the Knights of Ren. Looks like he's I'm getting off base here. My point behind that is that they didn't really follow the first movie. So it just they had two different directors. The first director did his thing. I guess he set things up to, for the second director. Second director was like, I'm doing my own thing. It's everything you put in there, I'm going to use it as a storytelling device, and that's it. And now the third movie's got to come out in 2019, and hopefully they can, make them all meet. It's a trilogy. They're supposed to be connected, and some people get it, some people don't. And that, for me, that was the main part of this story. That's one reason I didn't like this movie. Now, it has its flaws. Some of the CGI, especially at the Canto Bight sequence, ridiculous. I was like, come on, why is this these animated? It was obviously animated monsters they're riding on. The actors were probably on green screen, mounts or whatever. It did not look good. It didn't need to be told. The character of DJ, he was in there, and I like I can't even think of the guy's name right now. I like that actor. He was in Sicario, and he's going to be in Sicario too, so I'm looking forward to that as well. But I I didn't see any reason for them to be. I didn't see any reason for that whole sequence to be in this movie, other than have a big betrayal on the ship. And of course, when they capture Finn and they capture the other young lady, they say, "Well, shooting's too good for them." I'm like, "Oh my god, here we go! Bring out the axes!" And you know what's going from there. So they do the classic villain. I tell you, the bad guys in this movie were some of the dumbest. I mean, they did some of the dumbest things that I've seen. It's just like, come on, man. I don't know. I don't know. So they got the third movie coming out. I mean, well, let's not get too far ahead of myself. Luke, of course, he shows up at the planet. Of course, he's got short hair, darker beard, and I'm thinking, what's going on here? It doesn't look like he did on the planet. Maybe did he get a quick haircut and dye his beard before he got there? I saw the X-wing fighter underneath the water when he was on the island. Did he fly out there? Why is he there all of a sudden? Why didn't his sister feel his presence when he got into the system? It's Luke Skywalker. You're supposed to feel him when he gets there. Whatever. Turned out to be a ghost, and people say, "Well, that's cool. That's new force powers." Okay, got it. I'm not tripping on new force powers. New force powers are great. Got it. But I guess what I'm tripping on is that it just took away from. It's been 40 years. We've been waiting for the return of Luke Skywalker. I wanted to see him do something, like dude, something. And he didn't have a Luke Skywalker moment. Not to me, anyway. And then, of course, when he did the whole force projection across the galaxy, which is, I guess, awesome, he died. So, yeah, I mean, I didn't expect him to live through, these movies, but just died. He just kind of gave up. I didn't get it. I was like, yeah. So he didn't really fight. He didn't show off his skills, which I was like, people were really looking forward to that. I mean, I get that Mark Hamill's 66 years old, so maybe but this is a story that this director wanted to tell, and I don't think he and J.J. Abrams, I don't think they talked. I think they just, man, you do your own thing. I'm out of there, And Disney needs to get that. They need to. Hey, when you make a trilogy, those three movies, the trilogy needs to be planned out. This is going to happen in the first one. This is supposed to be happening in the second one, and this is happening in the third one. And if you get three different directors, you let them know, hey, this is your part of the movie, and it needs to follow this part, what happened in the last movie. And the lore master of them all is supposed to review this crap and say, oh, wait a minute, this isn't matching here because we did this in this last movie. And Star Wars nerds, that's me, are going to catch that. It is what it is. But all in all, I mean, I've seen this movie once, and I don't need to see it again. And it's not because I'm boycotting Disney or boycotting whatever. It's just one of those movies I just never need to watch again. They're trying to garner for younger people, and I got it. They got to sell toys, the porgs, got it. I don't think they really sell a lot of toys like they used to. But for me, I mean, I never need to see this movie again. So, in all honesty, I mean, if I'm going to rate it for someone who's never seen a Star Wars movie, sure, 6.5 out of 10 at the most. For Star Wars fans, I'm going to give you a 5 at most. The best part of the movie for me, like I said earlier, was the interaction between Kylo Ren and Rey. You felt like there was some kind of connection. And I like that. I can't deny I like that. The fight scene in the throne room, pretty neat, But, I started going into my head again. Okay, why is she so good with a lightsaber? And I know Kylo Ren's good, but, dude, there's like 6 of these guys, And in real life, two people don't defeat 6. Sorry, one person that's barely trained, you got another person that's not trained at all, defeats 6 individuals that look like they're trained. So, yeah, I didn't get that. So it's a lot of flaws with the movie, and I'm kind of going all over the place with them, and it may sound like I'm giving it more bad than good, but you gotta understand this is just my personal view. If you want to go see the movie, go see the movie. It is Star Wars after all. I mean, it's a big event. I got it. And if you like it in any shape, form, or fashion, you still may get some enjoyment out of this movie. You still may like it. Screw you. I want to go see this movie. Go see it. But that is my rating. I'm going to stick by it. I can't give it any more than that. I never need to watch this movie again. I just don't. People say, well, I saw it one time and then I felt this way, and I went back and saw it again because I wanted to see if I felt the same. No, I don't need to do that. I trust my feelings. So I don't need to give it more than one watch. And if I liked it, yeah, I'd be back. I'd be back at the theaters. But I don't have any reason to go back to the theaters and see this movie. Um, all in all, that's my review for it. Thank you for visiting my channel. I really appreciate it. Please hit the subscribe button, hit that like button because it really does help me out when you do that, and I really do appreciate it. Take care of yourself.